Francisco Guillermo Ochoa Magaña was born on July 13, 1985. He earned his first cap for the Mexican national team at just 20 years old in a friendly match against Hungary. By 2026, he had become one of world football's longest-serving and most beloved goalkeepers, and he got to close the final chapter of his career on home soil in front of his own people. On April 30th, 2026, just weeks before the World Cup, Mexico's legendary goalkeeper revealed in FIFA's Letters That Unite segment, through tears, that the national team had always been the compass of his career and his life. The announcement came as little surprise, since he had already hinted that the 2026 World Cup would be his last dance in the Mexico shirt. Ochoa's story began at Club America. When he first arrived, he was seen as the heir apparent to the departing goalkeeper Rios. But new head coach Oscar Regueri brought in Argentine goalkeeper Sebastián Saya, and things took an unexpected turn. Regueri's tenure was marred by controversy and unpopular decisions. He was fired after just 6 games, and new coach Mario Carrillo reinstated the young Ochoa. From that point on, he started nearly every match for Club America, barring injury or national team duty. Under Carrillo, he won his first championship following the Clausura 2005 season, adding the 2005 Campeón de Campeones and the 2006 CONCACAF Champions Cup the same year. He won back-to-back Golden Glove awards in the 2006-07 season. In October 2007, he was named among France football's Ballon d'Or candidates, one of only 3 players on the list who didn't play in Europe, a remarkable achievement for the era. Ochoa was first included in the 2006 Germany World Cup squad, but only as third-choice goalkeeper, and never got on the pitch. The following year, he was promoted to backup and began earning caps in the Gold Cup and Copa America. He became Mexico's starting goalkeeper during qualifying for the 2010 South Africa World Cup and was named to the team of the tournament after Mexico's 2009 Gold Cup triumph. But one of the most controversial moments of his career came next. A major blunder in a pre-tournament friendly against North Korea led manager Javier Aguirre, coincidentally, the same man in charge of Mexico in 2026, to start veteran keeper Oscar Perez in South Africa instead. At 25 and just 3 years removed from a Ballon d'Or nomination, being benched was a huge controversy. In 2011, another shadow fell over his career. While named to the Gold Cup squad, he was suspended over false doping allegations. A surge in form from Corona and Alfredo Talavera once again threatened to deny Ochoa a World Cup spot in 2014. But manager Miguel Herrera finally gave him the chance he'd been chasing for nearly a decade. In Brazil, Ochoa's legend was born. In a match against host nation Brazil, he delivered the finest performance of his career, one of the best goalkeeping displays in tournament history, leading Mexico to a scoreless draw. At the 2018 World Cup, he made 9 saves in Mexico's historic 1-0 win over Germany, finishing the tournament with 25 saves across 4 matches. Named to the 2022 World Cup squad, Ochoa saved a Robert Lewandowski penalty in the group stage opener against Poland, securing a scoreless draw and earning Man of the Match honors. At the time, he said it was the match of his life to do it at a World Cup, in front of all the fans. Was incredible. Mexico advanced to the round of 16, where Ochoa again shone in a 2-1 defeat to the Netherlands, holding a 1-0 lead until the Dutch converted a penalty in the 91st minute. But in the group stage, a late goal from Salem Al-Dosari against Saudi Arabia sent Mexico out on goal difference, their first group stage elimination since 1978, and Ochoa was criticized for losing focus on that decisive goal. Following Captain Andres Guardado's international retirement, Ochoa officially took over the armband. In June 2023, he was called up for the CONCACAF Gold Cup, where Mexico beat Panama 1-0 in the final to win a record 12th Gold Cup title. On April 30th, 2026, weeks before the World Cup, he announced his retirement. The timing carried special weight. Mexico was co-hosting the 2026 World Cup alongside the United States and Canada, meaning Ochoa would close out his career on home soil. His sixth World Cup appearance placed him alongside Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo in a shared record for context. Gianluigi Buffon, widely regarded as one of the greatest goalkeepers ever, only made 5. On May 31st, he was named to Mexico's 26-man World Cup squad. Mexico completed the group stage without conceding a single goal, the first team to do so since 1990. On June 24th, he came on as a substitute in the 77th minute for Raul Rangel during a 3-0 win over the Czech Republic, his first appearance of the tournament, and the final one of his playing career. At 40 years and 346 days old, he became the oldest Mexican player to feature at a World Cup, surpassing the previous record held by Rafael Marquez. As he entered the match, fellow goalkeepers Raul Rangel and Carlos Acevedo encouraged the crowd to chant his name. Ochoa dropped to his knees, overcome with emotion, before his entire team lifted him into the air. On July 5, 2026, Mexico's World Cup run ended with a 3-2 round of 16 defeat to England, despite England playing much of the second half with 10 men. Jude Bellingham's 2 first-half goals gave England the edge. Julian Quiñones pulled one back in the 42nd minute, but it wasn't enough. Afterward, an emotional Ochoa told reporters, "My first game Azteca, my last game Azteca. It's been a beautiful final chapter of my career. Thank you, everyone." A career by the numbers. 153 caps for Mexico, 12 of them at World Cups. More than 425 appearances for Club America across 2 separate spells. 7 titles with the national team. The third most capped player in Mexico's history. 6 Gold Cup titles. The most successful player in the competition's history. 6 World Cup squads. A record shared only with Messi and Ronaldo international club spells across Europe and Latin America. Bleacher Report's Carla Villegas Gamas has described him as a proven, confident, and composed goalkeeper whose vast experience taught him how to handle pressure. Turning 41 on July 13th, Ochoa's retirement also marks the beginning of a new chapter. In April 2026, he signed a marketing partnership with a broker aiming to expand its presence in Latin America, a clear signal that his post-playing career would lean toward brand ambassadorship rather than coaching or punditry. That direction fits naturally with who he's always been. Throughout his career, on and off the pitch, Ochoa was as much a charismatic, media-savvy figure as a shot-stopper. His curly hair, his coolness under pressure, and his big match performances made him a near-pop culture icon in Mexico. It feels like a fitting next step, not a detour, for him to become a brand ambassador and businessman, rather than stand on a sideline or in a commentary booth. One of the most striking parts of Ochoa's story is how he bridged entire generations of Mexican football. When his career began, players like Rafael Marquez, Claudio Suarez, and Cuauhtémoc Blanco, Mexico's golden generation, were still on the pitch. Ochoa played alongside the generation that followed them too: Javier Chicharito Hernández, Giovanni Dos Santos, Carlos Vela, and Héctor Herrera. By the end of his career, an entirely new generation had taken the field: Raúl Jiménez, Edson Alvarez, Johan Vázquez, and Gilberto Mora. Across 23 years, Ochoa connected 3 distinct generations of Mexican football, a testament not just to longevity, but to a career that kept reinventing itself. In the end, the story came full circle. Ochoa began his career at Estadio Azteca, and on June 24, 2026, he said his goodbyes in that very same stadium, with the same love, the same tears. In his own words, "My first game Azteca, my last game Azteca." It might be the finest summary of his 23-year career, a return to where it all started, closing the book with dignity. The moment his teammates lifted him into the air wasn't just the farewell of one player, it was an emotional send-off for an entire generation of Mexican football.